Hello, 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 and welcome. You can see you are at the 13 days of Mardi Gras. We're having the Sawgrass Spectra here. We are going to unleash colorful things in every print. That is right. That is right. This is Rodeo Bo here from Condi Systems Incorporated. How are you doing? I am the mayor of Mardi Gras town here at Condi's headquarters, Condi Towers, here in beautiful Mobile, Alabama. You may or may not know this, but Mardi Gras season has started down here. It's getting colorful in the streets. There's lots of beads and people and balls and parades, and things are raining from the sky at people. We are raining here, and being the mayor of Mardi Gras town, I have given the keys to the city to our awesome sales reps. Call them 1-800-826-6332 and see what they can do for you. I know we've got a lot of great things in there. We've got some doorbusters, some open box specials. 1-800-826-6332. If you don't have a sales rep, go ahead and email us at salesteam@condi.com, or you can just call us at that number, 1-800-826-6332, and see who picks up for you, and we can get a rep with you. We've got a lot of great things going on here at Condi, as always, and there has never, ever been a better time than right now to invest in a Sawgrass sublimation printer. That is right. Invest in a Sawgrass sublimation printer. I got my SG500 here. I've got my SG1000 back here. I'm rocking both the Easy Subli Caesar inks, and I've also got the SubliJet UHD ink for all of my needs. That is right. SG500, SG1000. We got bypass trays and inks and everything. But here, we know him. We love him. He is our friend. We've got Andy from Sawgrass here with us to do some demos. Hello, Andy. How are you doing today?
Hey, Bo. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely wonderful. How is that weather over there in, I always want to say Charleston.
Not Charlotte. It's Charleston.
No, Charleston.
Charlotte's one state over.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
We're not doing too bad on weather. It's a little cool, but it is February. So what do you expect,
Awesome. I know that we sent you guys some stuff for Valentine's Day, which, by the way, every one of those products except for one is on sale, and that is the Unisub Heart Coaster, which I don't remember the product number. I'm sorry. But call your rep. They can probably get you that Unisub Heart Coaster at a good price. In fact, I know they can, because this is Condi Systems Incorporated. So, Andy, what kind of stuff you got going on for us today at Sawgrass headquarters?
I bet your Condi rep will know the part number right off the top of their head. So
I hope so.
Give them a call. They'll be a little more informative than Bo. And sorry, I don't have a cool Mardi Gras mask like Cannonball Chris. So
yeah.
I'm not meeting up to that. But if you got some beads you can throw my way, I'll take those.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've got some cool products that Condi sent over to us. We're going to be making some projects for you today. We're celebrating, Valentine's Day coming up. Obviously, Mardi Gras, big thing down in Condiville. We've also got some other, apparel projects we're going to be working on. So I'm going to kind of take you through it. If you're brand new to sublimation, I hope I can, kind of give you an idea about why it's so great and what you can do and all the advantages. And if you're already a Sawgrass user and you have your SG500 or SG1000 at home, maybe I can, give you some tips and some inspiration on your next big project or job. So we're starting off with a couple of these really cool sweetheart coasters that Condi sent us that we're going to design. Perfect for, a romantic dinner, with your wife or girlfriend or something like that, or just to kind of sit around the house and show off that Valentine's Day spirit. So these things come with a coating that Unisub puts on them to protect it. And that's really good because, the coating of the product itself is what the image is dyed into, and it affects, the image quality, and the clarity and color and everything like that is only as good as the coating. And we all know Unisub and Chromolux have the best coatings. So it's important for them to keep this annoying little plastic on there just to make sure it doesn't get any scratches or anything. But if you've ever used Unisub before, you've probably forgotten to peel it off one time or two. And you know what that's like when it comes out of the heat press. It's kind of a big mess. So don't forget to do that. We're using some artwork that is from Creative Studio. I mean, excuse me, I'm sorry. It is from DesignMate, Sawgrass's designer program that comes with the SG500 or SG1000. And we're decorating these to look like the Sweetheart Candy coasters. So this is in our Valentine's Day section of DesignMate. So you look in there, you'll see all kind of different, really creative, really cool Valentine's themed images, and really any other event or holiday or, you know, big thing that's coming up, you're going to see some great artwork in there. So if you don't use DesignMate, or if you don't have DesignMate Premium and you haven't been utilizing all of that great artwork in there, I would recommend checking it out. So we got our coaster. I mean, yes, our heart-shaped coaster. We've got the plastic peeled off, and we're going to go ahead and put it to heat press. We'll also go ahead and put the transfer on these other two, so we can do them at the same time. This heat press that we're using here is a George Knight DK20. I call it the Cadillac of heat presses because it really is. It will pretty much last forever. It's big enough to do pretty much really any job that you need. And nobody makes heat presses better than George Knight. So if you're looking for a heat press that's not a hobby press, it's not something that's going to conk out on you after, you know, 6 months or a year or 5 years, it's going to last forever. I'd totally recommend George Knight, and I believe that's all that Condé sells for a good reason, because they're the best heat presses. So for these heart-shaped coasters, we've printed them out on the SG1000 we've got here, but you could easily print these on the SG500 because they're pretty small. The SG1000, as we know, will print up to 11 by 17. However, if you get the bypass tray, it'll print even larger. It'll print all the way up to 13 by 19. So those for your big stuff.
Hey, Andy.
Yep.
Condé Systems, I don't know if you know this, has 13 by 21 that goes in the bypass tray. It is industry exclusive only here at Condé, 13 by 21.
So 13 by 21 is such a great size of paper because you can, with the bypass tray, you can print as long as you want, up to 51 inches. But who has a 51-inch heat press? Pretty much nobody. But a lot of people have a 20-inch heat press or maybe a 24-inch heat press. So that sheet size is actually perfect because it really maximizes what most people could do with a typical heat press. But what about 8.5 by 21? Do you sell that?
No, I do not believe we do, Andy. I think
you might.
You think so?
Because with the smaller printer, the SG500, you can, without the bypass tray, it'll print up to 8.5 by 14, which is great. However, you know, some people do want to be able to print larger images with the SG500 for specific, like, longer products, maybe like long socks or ribbons or for bows for cheerleading. I've seen that.
Andy,
so
we do. You taught me something today. David is
Yep.
very proud of the 13 by 21, so I know it. I dropped the link in for the 13 or the 8.5 by 21.
It's great because, you know, without that size of paper, there really is nothing bigger than 8.5 by 14. However, the bypass tray for the SG500, the smaller one, will print a longer image. So technically you could print up to 8.5 by 51. but there's no paper for that. You'd have to buy a roll and do all the cutting, which nobody wants to do that. But if you can just get a pack of the 8.5 by 21, set a custom sheet size in PrintMate, then you could print these big, long images for, like I said, like some unique long substrates.
Or just getting a whole bunch of small substrates and print more of them at once.
Exactly. So just like we're doing with these coasters, instead of, being able to print, 3 at a time, you could probably print, 8 at a time. So
while you're pressing those coasters, I noticed that at least one of those has a cork backing.
Yes, I believe they all have cork backings.
Did you know that you can sublimate on the cork?
I did not.
So if you wanted to put like your logo or something on there, your contact, anything, you can go ahead and sublimate that on the cork when you're done.
Well, anytime you can sublimate on the back of a product, that's one good lesson I've learned from David Gross over the years, is never fail to put your contact information, phone number, website, email, all that stuff on the back, because people like to pick up sublimated products and feel them, and they flip it over, they see exactly where it came from, they know where to go back to reorder them, and it's just a good thing to be able to do. So I did not know you could sublimate the back of it, but we'll give it a try just to see how it looks, since we have some extra images here. Once we see how the front side comes out, we'll do the back. But that's a great piece of information as well. So while we're waiting for these coasters to come out of the heat press, I'll give you a little bit of information about the printers. So Sawgrass printers are really the best desktop sublimation printers in the world, because they're purpose built for sublimation. They're not made for regular printing. They're made specifically for sublimation printing. So the components are the most robust components you can use, made for long lasting. It's the most durable printer you can get. And it has a 2-year warranty. And the reason it does is because we're, extremely confident that it's a long lasting printer that can, withstand a ton of prints, no print count restriction under the warranty. So it's really great, long lasting printer. And, part of the reason that it lasts so long is because it has its own maintenance cycle. So it'll basically take care of itself whenever you're not using it. So if you use it every day, great. It never needs to run any maintenance, because it's, getting all the use in that needs to be. But not everybody uses it every day. Maybe it might be once a week. Maybe it might be once a month. So the automatic maintenance cycle will ensure that your printer, the nozzles, the capping heads, stay clean, ready to print. Whenever you need to use it, it's going to print perfectly the first time, even if it has been, weeks or so at a time. And the good thing about the maintenance cycle is that it really uses tiny amount of ink, like less than 2 cents of ink per day. So it's not costing you extra money by keeping it plugged in and turned on and maintained, but it just makes the printer that much more reliable. And others printers like out there in the market don't have that, and that's why they probably just don't last as long as the Sawgrass printers do. So we've got our cute little heart-shaped sweetheart coasters printed, and they look really good. A couple of cool colors, supposed to look like the candy. So great little idea to maybe have sitting around your house, or surprise your wife or girlfriend on a romantic dinner at home. Now that we have the front side printed, let's see if Bo is right and try to press the back. Is there any difference in the time and temperature or anything like that, or should we just do it the same way we did the front?
You just do it the same way you did the front.
Okay, well, we're going for it right here, and we'll see live how this turns out. Pressing the back of the Sweetheart coaster. All right, so next thing we've got is this really cool Sweetheart mouse pad. Great for Valentine's Day, great gift. You can put somebody's image on here. You can put a family photo, picture of somebody's kid or their pet, you know, or just a couple to celebrate Valentine's Day. This is a great little gift. You know, mouse pad is something that everybody uses who has a job. So they never throw them away. I mean, I never throw away a mouse pad. I'll stick it in my drawer and maybe use it when my old one, you know, just starts getting wore out. But it's a great gift or a great promotional product because everybody uses it. Everybody needs them, and you just don't throw these things away. All right, so the back side of our Sweetheart coaster is done, and you know, it turned out pretty good. So really the only text we had on there was XOXO, but you can definitely clearly see it. It did sublimate. I assume it's never going to wash away. You know, I'm not sure why cork would be sublimatable because it's not really polyester, but hey, it's a great way to at least get your name, contact info, and website and phone number and that type of stuff.
Yeah, I don't argue with science. I don't know the magic behind cork and its sublimating. Usually we just do something in black real quick on the back.
Yeah, something in black would probably show up really good, I would think. And you know, it's worth it. You know, you probably never know that would be sublimatable until you at least try it. So were you the first person to try that, Bo, or somebody?
No, somebody else did before me.
Yeah.
What time, temperature and pressure are you using with that DK20S, the world's best heat press? And do you know what the S stands for? It stands for smasher.
Smasher.
Actually, it's swing away, but
as long as it's your finger,
yes.
As long as it's not your finger, it's smashing, then all good, right? But I am using, you know, for time and temperature, I'm using the standard 400 degrees. You know, usually I do like to look at the manufacturer recommendations for every single thing I print because, you know, if you buy something from Condi, it's always going to come with directions that say this is what you need to press it at. And if I'm, you know, being really serious, I would always check that. I would probably even do a practice. But, you know, with sublimation, most products out there have a baseline temperature of about 400 degrees and, you know, 40 to 60 seconds, kind of depending what it is. So I pretty much gave it a good solid guess, and I'm pretty confident it's going to come out good. So the coaster certainly did. Now, one problem I'm running into right here, which people might you know, understand this who have done mouse pads before, is that the heat tape doesn't really want to stick to the mouse pad very well. So in that case, what I like to do is just use a little quick spray of Easy Tack or Pro Spray. I believe Condi has their own version of it.
Pro Spray is our brand. Yes.
Pro Spray, Condi Pro Spray.
And I just want to say real quick, Ashley, you should be coming on in here and checking out one of those DK20Ss and doing some shopping with us since you're in the area. Come on anytime. We can play around and get you going.
Ashley, if you're interested in a heat press, I would definitely recommend taking Bo up on that. Now, Bo, on the back of these mouse pads, can you sublimate your contact information on there as well? Or have you tried that?
I have never tried that. I generally go for the black backed mouse pads usually. That's probably why.
Now, I think that one was a tan. So it is. I'm not sure if it's just a different color, if it's different material.
No,
That,
I think it's just tan.
yeah, the surface of the mouse pad, at least the printable area.
If you have an extra thing and want to try it, that'd be kind of cool. I'd be interested.
We absolutely do. And hey, that's what we're here for, is to try new stuff, see if it works. So as soon as this pops up right now, we'll take a look at the front side first, which it looks great. So this artwork from Sawgrass Design Mate is from one of our featured artists. So we typically have a featured artist of the month. We're always looking for new artists and designers to add their artwork into Design Mate. So this is by Chameleon Cuttables. If you check out Design Mate, they have their own category, a lot of different really cool looking Valentine's themed artwork and other really creative stuff. So check it out. If you don't have Design Mate Plus, look into it, because you can be taking advantage of all this really cool artwork that's built in there. So I'd say that is a great looking Valentine's Day mouse pad right there. We're going to try the back real quick. I'm going to put this transfer on. I'm going to get one more piece of paper to go on the bottom, because we've already sublimated on this a couple times. I don't want to mess up the front of the mouse pad, since there might be some ink already down on the paper. I'm going to set my transfer on. I'm also just going to set one more piece of blowout paper on top. I'm also just kind of afraid it might melt, and I don't want to get the melted mouse pad all over the top plating of the heat press. So that's also a good reason to always use a piece of blowout paper on top of anything, especially if you're not 100% sure it won't melt, like this. So while we're waiting for that, I've got a couple of other things I wanted to press, because it is the 13 days of Mardi Gras, but Mardi Gras means something different to everybody. For me, when I think of Mardi Gras, I think it's about to be warm soon in a lot of the parts of the country, because winter's coming to an end and summer's coming up. So that's when I start thinking about t-shirts and apparel and jerseys and uniforms and being outside, sports, everything like that. So I started working on a athletic uniform, and I'm going to finish it up as well right after we check out this mouse pad. So it did not melt, it did not stick. We put it on upside down. However, it works. You can read the writing. It looks pretty good. It's pretty clear. You can get some color on there. So maybe this is the advantage of using the tan versus the black, is that you've got two sides. You can, add your contact information onto the back there. So,
you've only been on for 20 minutes, and I've learned two things from you. Condi has 8.5 by 21 inch paper, and you can sublimate on the tan mouse pad's backing. This is awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
That is great. That is great.
Something else I learned during this whole thing is that blowout paper you have there, when you're at home, don't throw that paper out. Save that paper, put it away to the side and save it. And you can shred that paper and use it as packaging when you send out your orders. So you're, spending less and you're wasting less.
There you go.
And then from all of your sublimation work on it, it's going to be confetti paper. It's going to be all different colors, and it's going to be pretty.
I mean, if it's a little burned, or if there's a heart burned into the middle of it, once you shred it up, you're never going to notice anyway. So, hey, that's a great little tip there.
Use what you got.
Yep. So again, it's going to be summer soon. It's going to be spring very soon. And all of the schools, sports leagues, all of different markets out there that need apparel are ramping up. So this is why I kind of wanted to do a project of a garment. This is a sports uniform, like for a soccer team, possibly. But what I've done is printed like a gradient from the bottom up, basically using 2 sheets of paper, which I'll show you how I did it. But I've also printed the logo of the school and the organization and the person's number on the front. And I've also actually got the logo of the league or maybe the conference, on the sleeves, because one thing you can really do, especially with sports teams when you're making jerseys or uniforms, is add these embellishments. That's one great thing about sublimation, is that you can put pieces of print here or wherever you want, all over your different products. So, any way you can add embellishments, it makes it look like it was printed more all over than just one single press. And it adds to the perceived value. So, this right here is something, online when you go to a cut and sew website, where jerseys are being printed in large format cut and sew, they're charging 40 or 50 bucks a uniform. But if you use some smart design techniques like this, you can charge the same type of premiums as well. So I'm going to do the back next, add the gradient, and I'm going to add the name and number as well. So I'll kind of show
Andy,
you how
I got a question for you. One, I want to answer a question from Ashley. She's asking how you can make shirts more vibrant so they don't lose the color. And that's a really hard question to answer without knowing all of the information. Using premium transfer paper is going to be one thing. Using Sawgrass inks, using good inks, having a good printer is another thing. And you're going to want to make sure that you have a high polyester count. The lower polyester count, the more faded, the more vintage your design is going to look, and the more of it's going to wash out.
Correct.
Yes. And I think you answered how much on that for her. The other question is, you said you printed that on 2 sheets, so that is not from the VJ628?
It is not from the VJ628.
Okay.
It's from this SG1000.
And why the number 12?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's just a number. But get back to the first question. Sublimation printing in general is extremely vibrant on almost any substrate, on a t-shirt, on a coaster, a hard coaster, on a mouse pad. If your print is not vibrant, then something is wrong. It's either the image or something with the transfer paper or the heat press or something like that, because when you print with sublimation, the natural result is very vibrant, bright color. So you should always get bright and vibrant color. If you're not, something's wrong. Ask a question. Come to Sawgrass, come to Condi. We can definitely help you. So really, I don't expect to get the question of how do I make my colors more vibrant, because as long as you're doing everything right, they should be as vibrant as you could possibly imagine. Look into that. Come to us for help if you need help with this, because that's one of the greatest benefits of sublimation is the color and the vibrancy. You just can't match that with any other decoration technique out there. So getting back to my shirt, no, I printed 2 transfers of this gradient design and basically just kind of lined them up and taped the transfers together. So you really can't tell that there's any gap there at all. And when you go to print it, you really can't see that in the result either. So this is just a kind of cool little trick to make it look like your shirt was actually printed, kind of all over, or with a larger printer than you actually were using. So I'm going to set this back on our heat press and show you kind of how I line this up. Now, so this is a 16 by 20 heat press, which is definitely big enough to cover, the bottom of the shirt completely. but only if I kind of have the shirt going this way instead of this way, because I've got more room here. If I had the shirt vertical instead of horizontal, it would kind of lay off the sides and I wouldn't be able to print the whole thing. So with some, yep.
Andy, we got Bobby in here and she's telling me I need to tell you about the board method that Nikki, the sassy subber, does. And we'll have to get her back on. She will hate me for it, but
believe me, I guarantee you there's great methods out there that I haven't even learned about or know about. There's all kind of different great ways to do this type of stuff. So you never quit learning. There's always a better way. But yes, I would love to hear how other people do this and hear how other people have, had success with this. So basically what I'm doing is kind of giving it a feel on both sides of the heat press along the edge to make sure that the shirt isn't just hanging over the edge on one of the sides of the heat press. Because if it is and I can't see it, it's covered up, then that part of the shirt isn't going to end up pressing. So you might need to kind of scoot it a little, either side to side or front to back, but you just want to make sure that the entire part of the shirt, which for us is the bottom part that we're printing right now, is actually square on the heat press, because you've got it covered up with blowout paper. You can't really see it completely. But I think we have it good enough. So we're going to go ahead, shut the heat press. And once this is done, then the last thing we have to do is basically just add the name and the number on the back, which is pretty simple. So, getting back to the fact that it's Mardi Gras, which means spring and summer's coming, time to be thinking about apparel, time to be thinking about all the different markets for apparel. Wanted to give a quick list of, a couple markets I thought of, not markets, but, there's so many clubs, organizations, and groups that need to buy apparel. There's no shortage of places to think about to market to these groups. So I'm going to run through a couple. If anybody has any other thoughts or suggestions, I'd love to hear it. So here's how the back of our shirt came out. Pretty good. You can't really tell at all that there was any two sheets used. So youth sports leagues, number one. All right, school sports, spirit wear, school store merchandise, math club, chess club, student council, fundraisers, booster clubs, 5K races, tournaments, festivals, bachelorette parties, family reunions, political campaigns, churches and nonprofits, small businesses. There's so many hundreds of groups out there that have to have apparel and shirts, uniforms, jerseys, whatever it might be, every single year. So think about, the customers in your area that you can kind of go after. Think about what they're looking for, what they value. And now just get ahead of it, because you don't want to wait till it's already hot outside to start trying to, sell t-shirts. Now is the time to go ahead and start thinking about it right now. So we have the gradient printed. Now all we got to do is put the name and number on the shirt and we're basically done. So I'm going to set it on my heat press. Now for this, I can put it on the heat press vertically normally, because I'm not having to cover the entire shirt completely. All I'm doing is just the name and number on the back, which I've cut out. Another thing I like to do when I'm printing transfers onto t-shirts is kind of tear along the outside of the transfer if I have the time, because it really does minimize the appearance of the press lines. And I mean, once you do it and see the difference, I mean, if you have the time to do it, it's worth it because I think it really does make it look better. And, you know, with press lines, once they're there, you can't really ever get them out. If you use like a pillow or something like that, like a vapor, the vapor package, that works great. But, you know, for this, or if you're in like a real hurry, sometimes just tearing it is, you know, effective way to just minimize the appearance. So put a sheet of blowout paper on there, and then we're pretty much ready to go.
Hey, Andy, do you ever put a sheet of oh, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm unmuted. Do you ever put a sheet of blowout in between the front and back of the shirt? And I believe that was a vapor shirt, I think, based off the tag that I peeped out there. Vapor, I don't believe you have to.
It was a vapor shirt, and for most of the shirt, I don't need to, because I just know that it's not going to penetrate through the shirt and like come out the other side. Sometimes if you want to be careful, or if it's a really dark, dense, saturated image, maybe you would want to, but most of the time you don't. However, for this particular image, I'll show you after it comes out of the heat press here. All right, we've got our name and number printed. There's the back of the jersey that we finalized. So as you can see with this, the back of the shirt actually drops down a little bit lower than the front of the shirt, which is, you know, common. That's how a lot of shirts are. The back just comes down a little bit more. But when I press the front, I don't want all these dots printing on the back side of the back. So when I pressed this, I did have to have a sheet of paper in here that ensured that the, you know, the back side of the back of the shirt doesn't get printed, and it's just the front part. But on the inside of the shirt here, I knew that it wouldn't really travel all the way through the shirt. So no, you only just need to cover up where it would get printed if you didn't have that piece of paper there to kind of absorb that ink instead. So again, we kind of got a cool looking, all over looking jersey. You know, just a lot of the design elements is going to raise the perceived value of this. And this is something, you know, if you do this right and you don't have a little piece of tape stuck to this, like I do, but you can really charge premiums versus just a normal, you know, vinyl cut t-shirt with a logo and name and number on the back of it. So this is, you know, kind of what, you know, the younger generation likes to have. So great way to just raise the perceived value. And again, add as many different embellishments on the shirt as you can, whether it's logos or stuff like that. So the last thing I got to print is an arm sleeve, because of course, you know, any of these groups I just mentioned, if you're going to be printing t-shirts for them, it only makes sense to upsell them into other products. If you're doing shirts for a 5K race, it only makes sense to upsell them into the water bottles as well. You know, same thing with like youth sports or school sports.
Don't forget about those gaiters, Andy. I love the gaiters.
Don't forget about the gaiters. I mean, there's
not the Florida Gators, but the gaiters, you know.
Yep. I mean, I wear them for, you know, fishing. I wear them for skiing. I mean, I wear them from outdoors. There's so many different uses for them. But with sublimation, there's so many different products out there that are sports related that you can upsell your customers on, whether it's socks and flip-flops, all these different wearables. If your school logo or your name or your team name or anything like that is going on a t-shirt, it really should be going on 5 or 10 other products, because, you know, that's, parents are, you know, putting their kids in school sports, then they're going to be wanting to buy all these other products with their kids' picture and logo on them and stuff like that too. So it's all about upselling, and it's really easy too. I mean, it's such a simple process. Create, print, press. Anybody can start doing sublimation and basically be a pro in one day. So I printed these arm sleeve kind of to go along with the jersey. It's got the same color. I even put the person's name on it because, you know, anytime you put somebody's name on a product, it really increases the odds that they're never going to throw it away, because people like to keep stuff that's personalized to them. It's meaningful and it's a memory. So with this, I'm going to do the same thing. Instead of trying to use some tape to keep the arm sleeve on the transfer, I'm just going to give it a quick spray with my Condi Pro Spray. And then that just helps the arm sleeve stick right down there on it. Another thing is these sleeves, they do have a seam like on the edge. Sometimes it'll be kind of flipped, but if you can kind of roll it back to where it's flat and the seams are on both sides, it will look better once you print it, to ensure that it stays flat on the transfer itself. So I'm going to lay this thing down as flat as I could possibly get it. Might take more than one try. If it does, don't worry. And I can put it face down on the heat press. One more piece of blowout paper so I don't get any ink on the heat press. Now, unfortunately, you can't do both sides at once. You've got to print one side and then print the other side. But if you're doing multiples, you know, you could print several, 3 or 4 at a time on the front side, then flip them over and print 3 or 4 at a time on the back side. So while we're waiting another 15 seconds for this to come out of the heat press, Bo, do we have any questions or any audience thoughts or questions? I'd love to.
No, we don't have any questions in the audience. We got a lot of people talking about shirts and, you know, all sorts of things they do with their SG printers. Loving that. Anyone have any questions while we're at this point? Will you be modeling all of this today for us, Andy?
No, unfortunately, I won't be able to do that. Maybe next time, I'll say.
And those are 400 degrees at 60 seconds, right?
400 degrees at 60 seconds. That's what I've been doing everything today.
All right.
And I'm using Vapor Apparel t-shirts, which I've been using for years. I think they're the best sublimating shirts out there. They look the best. They hold up the best. You know, they're antimicrobial, just really good shirts. But, you know, for sublimation, you can really use any polyester shirt out there. You know, it's good to give it a test just to make sure, you know, there's no additives or coatings or anything in the shirt. But, you know, there's all sorts of different types of polyester shirts out there now that feel like microfiber, like this, which is really good for sports.
Is that a basic, or is that a basic tee?
No, this is one of the microfiber ones. It's like the solar tee, short sleeve tee. But these are like the best for athletics, I feel like. And, you know, one thing that makes sublimation so great for this type of printing is that there's no hand on the image at all whatsoever. It's not a surface application. So when you think about technologies like DTF, which I love, DTF is great. But one thing that I love about sublimation compared to DTF is there is no hand. It's not a surface application. It does not block the airflow at all. So, you know, for a lot of sports teams, having a big logo on the front of your shirt that with DTF that's blocking the airflow, and then you're sweating, you're generating body heat, it can be really uncomfortable. And I hear people complain about that a lot. With sublimation, that's not something that you'll ever have to worry about.
And does that shirt on the tag say what the SPF, or I think they changed what SPF is these days?
Yeah, I mean, it used to be they used to have like SPF 80 on vapor shirts, but I know they do have SPF. They'll definitely, you know, protect your skin, but they're also like antimicrobial as well, so they don't start stinking. You know, when you start sweating and perspirating and stuff like that. So there's a lot of great qualities about that. They wick the moisture, obviously, so they keep you cool when it's hot. And I wear them when I'm snow skiing in the winter, because they'll keep you cool. I mean, they'll keep you warm when it's cold. So any season, there's great benefits of wearing these shirts. But like I said, if you're looking for more of a softer shirt, there's plenty of different types of polyester fabric that feels softer, not like you know, athletic type shirt like this. So pretty much anywhere you want to go, you've got a good option with these polyester shirts out there right now. A lot of different companies making these shirts. But again, I'm using Vapor today. I think that's probably the best out there for most applications. So we've got our arm sleeve done, full color, full bleed, you know, really no white left on here. So, you know, soccer jersey, soccer arm sleeve, you know, next thing, you've just got to sell them the water bottle. You got to sell the coaches, the clipboards. You got to sell the parents, the sweatshirts,
the stadium cushions, socks.
I mean, how many different products are there? You could really buy, you know, a whole soccer club with every single product they need. So
don't forget about the car flags too. You can get the parents rolling up with the car flags.
Absolutely.
Taking over when they're out of town on those road trips.
Yep. If one kid on the team has something personalized, you know, specific for them, then every kid's got to have that same thing. So you don't got to sell the whole team. You just got to sell one kid, and then the rest of it sells itself. That's
right. Andy, that's awesome. So sublimation just isn't for the holidays. It's for everything. Then you can go from spring into summer, you know, back into fall and into winter, all the way round year, you know, so around the world, maybe around the year with sublimation, right?
It is. I mean, there's products for every season. Absolutely. For the outdoor season when it's hot, as well as for the cold indoor season. So plenty of really cool products to be able to decorate, personalize, and enjoy with your friends and family, and sell and make money, because that's what most of our customers are using our printer for, is selling products and making money. And that's why, you know, when it comes to Sawgrass ink, we, you know, never cut corners, and the quality of the printer, the ink, and our commitment to our customers is the most important thing to Sawgrass. And well,
that's why Condi has teamed up with Sawgrass.
Exactly.
Actually, it's noticing that I have two inks in front of me. I have the Caesar Easy Subli, and I also have the I always want to say Chromolux. I was going to say the SubliJet UHD. Yes, so you guys have more than, you also have the Chromoblast ink. That you have the 3 inks, right?
Correct. Chromoblast is not sublimation, though.
That is right.
That's a pigment ink. It's just for heat transfers, made for 100% cotton t-shirts, mainly white.
And Ashley's asking the question that I was just about to ask. Once you put, let's say I get Easy Subli and put it in my printer, I got to stay with Easy Subli, right? Once I put UHD in, I got to stay with UHD.
Yeah, because, you know, once you put the cartridge into the printer, and the printer will start sucking the ink through the lines up into the print head and fill it up with that ink. There's no way to really ever get it out. And it's a different formulation with the Caesar ink versus the SubliJet ink versus the Chromoblast ink. So you're never going to be able to really get it to look right again. So it's not something that you want to try. Just decide what ink you want to use, stick with that. If you want to get a second printer down the line to use a different ink, that's what most people do. And we'll just have 2 separate printers, which is not a problem because there's a maintenance feature on the printers to keep them clean and ready to run. So when you're not using it, it's taking care of itself and will be ready to fire up and print perfectly whenever you do need to use it.
That would have been my answer too, Andy. I love it. We're on the same page here.
Awesome.
The only thing I disagree with you on is the Mardi Gras being spring. From where I'm from up in Detroit, it's more like, St. Patrick's Day and maybe a little after that,
Absolutely.
Maybe Labor Day.
Yeah, I was going to print my Clemson Tigers t-shirt here today, but I didn't want to offend you as a Detroit Tigers fan, or Victoria or David as an Auburn Tigers fan. So I said, look, let's just not even do anything Tigers.
I actually have a Clemson shirt, and I wore it here, and my neighbor was like, well, you better not wear that down here.
Yeah.
It's my yard keeper
in the South.
And I was like, I don't even know who they are. I got this at the Goodwill store for $0.25.
Exactly.
But yes, absolutely awesome live. Sawgrass, great desktop sublimation printers, amazing results every single time, easy to print from. They've got the design mates, the print mates, and the exchange, right?
We've got the exchange, which is like the marketplace, which enables you to be able to have a website where you can sell all of your products and designs that you make. So check that out as well. We also have My Mates, which is a community of only Sawgrass users. So it's a way to connect with other people, to ask questions, share experiences, inspire each other. There's all kind of great communication going on My Mates. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to sawgrassink.com and check it out, because it's
there's three
Sawgrass
mates, just like the Three Stooges, right?
Well, we call them the mates. It's a great group of software that Sawgrass is developed and brought out to our customers, and people love it, and it's just part of the value that you get when you buy a Sawgrass printer.
Awesome. We do love added value here. We love giving that out to our customers here at Condi. Oh, also one thing, if you purchase Sawgrass Inks from Condi, you can give them back to us, and we give you a $5 credit for each cartridge given back in our recycling program.
All recyclable.
I don't think there's a limit.
Sustainability is really important to Sawgrass. That's something we really taken serious lately. So all of our packaging, all of the components, 100% recyclable. And, we work with our great dealers like Condi, who do great stuff to help recycle all of the stuff. You can drop off empty cartridges at any Staples or Office Depot. They got a little bin up at the front. But just to ensure that, it's not going to end up in a landfill and it's going to be recycled, used for something good, makes everybody feel better. Yeah.
Ashley, come on. Call your rep, 1-800-826-6332. Find out more about the ink recycling program. It's $5 per cartridge, must be purchased from Condi, and all of that money goes to a good cause too. We don't
call your rep
to charity.
They'll tell you.
Yeah, I don't know what charity, because we just switched it over, and I haven't found that out yet. And I forget to ask every single time until I'm live. I'm sorry, but ask your rep; they know.
Perfect.
Yes. Do you have any last words for us before we get out of here?
Thank all the great Condi customers out there. Thank you for using Sawgrass. we hope that, you know, you come be a part of our education in the future, one of our live workshops, or check out our academy. Check out any of our how-to videos on our YouTube page. And yeah, any way we can, you know, help moving forward, please let us know. Reach out, talk to Condi. We're here. We want to make it better for you. We want to serve you guys, and we just appreciate all the great Condi customers out there and for joining us here today.
Well, thank you, Andy. And I want to give a shout out to everybody on your team too as well. Daisy, awesome job. Thank you today. Thank you to Jesse. Thank you to well, the whole crew over there at Sawgrass. Thank you. You did a wonderful job. Thank you for coming on here, helping us spread the word to our customers here at Condi about the quality and amazing value that Sawgrass packs into every desktop printer. So thank you, Andy. Thank you, everybody here for watching. We will be back tomorrow with somebody. I'm not exactly sure right now. I forget, but we will be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. with a live. In the future, you can just go ahead and watch it. Yes, thank you, everybody, and we will see you later.
Can't wait to check it out. See you later.